Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing great. So today I'm here with the CAE interview questions on strength and durability analysis. If you want to get into any of the MNCs, so you need to learn more about durability analysis as well as crash test, okay, design optimization and the topology optimization, very important. So when it comes to durability analysis, if we have done the simple static analysis and then running the fatigue analysis using SolidWorks and Abaqus, that is not going to help you out. Okay, so you need to dig deeper and learn each and every steps and each and every analysis in durability. Okay, so YouTube देख के मैंने पूरा सीख लिया करके गया तो वो दुबलापंती हो जाएगा. Okay, so वहाँ पे कुछ नहीं चलता. So if you want to crack the interviews, you should be perfect enough in these all the steps. So I'll be covering basics here. Okay. So remaining things you need to go through and learn it accordingly. Well, we'll see what exactly this durability analysis and the fatigue analysis. In short, I would like to just clarify the fatigue analysis is a part of durability analysis. Just remember that. Okay. Don't be confused between these two terminologies. Okay. So when it comes to this durability analysis, it involves in the defect characterization, crack initiation, and propagation mechanisms. Okay, and then when it comes to fatigue analysis, uh, it is just uh, a life of a component that how many cycles it can survive. Okay, without developing any of the crack or flaws. You need to remember that. When it comes to durability, it's a ability of a product to withstand the number of loading conditions. Okay, how many loading conditions it can withstand. So in short, it is the measure of the lifespan of a particular component. So when it comes to automotive domain, we're going to use it for design more reliable transmissions, drive lines, and axles. Okay, the when it comes to gearbox, we need to have a look on whole gearbox as an interacting and the flexible system. There it will help you out. Predict gear, bearing, and shaft lifetimes. Okay. The industrial equipments, same thing. The design for improved reliability in process machinery, material handling, power takeoffs. Okay. Speed reducers. These all the things comes into account. And then again we have these 2 points. You can just go through. Okay. The very important thing is the failure of gears and bearings will come into account in industrial equipment. Well, when it comes to fatigue analysis, we already seen. So in short, if you want to go through again, you can see the definition here. It's the structural analysis of the failure tendency of a system when it is subjected to repetitive loading conditions or the cyclic loads, we can say. Okay, it's a progressive and the localized structural damage that can occur when a material is subjected to cyclic loading condition. Okay, so there are process like stress concentration will act and then crack will propagate and then results in the leakages. So this particular failure mechanism is known as the fatigue. Okay, so there are different stages in it. One is the crack initiation, and then crack propagation, and then finally the failure probability. So these are the like the following steps it's gonna just take, and the component will fail accordingly. Now, how exactly we're gonna conduct the fatigue analysis using Abaqus? Okay, you can use different tools as well, Hypermesh, Ansys. But if you're specifying any tools, you should know each and every thing about that particular tool when it comes to these certain analysis like durability. Well, first thing we're gonna just define the loading conditions. Okay, so whether it is a static analysis or you are going to consider the non-linear dynamic analysis, so what kind of frequency, amplitude, or the waveform you're going to consider. Okay, everything you need to define it properly, and you could be able to explain whether you're going to conduct the static analysis or how exactly it is done using the like nonlinear analysis. So you should be able to explain with the both. Okay, simple loading condition running the durability is not going to work. You have to clear the interviews. Defining the material properties. So here also very important. There are different curves available, lesson curves. Okay, cyclic properties directly can take it. Okay, there are different materials available in Abaqus like the Coppens model, SWT, that is with Smith's, Watson, and Topper models, and all. So you can use these materials while defining the material properties. So analysis procedure, okay, including the zero based or fully reversed. So you need to check what is zero based and what it is fully reversed. Okay, number of cycles and analysis type, whether it is at linear or non-linear. The solver settings we need to set it properly, and then what kind of approach you are going to take into account. Okay, the one is the strain life and the stress life, stress strain directly into account, crack growth propagation like SWT, and we have the coffin Manson. So what kind of approach you're going to consider in order to define the analysis procedure. Next, we need to perform the analysis. So once you perform it, you're gonna get the results, including the fatigue life, damage accumulation, crack growth rates, and all, and the crack length. Okay, then you can analyze them. Finally, you can validate the results by using the different validation verification tools like the Goodman diagram, minus rule, and Paris rules, and all. So according to that, you can get the results. Okay. Next, kinds of loading conditions in fatigue analysis and how we need to approach it. First one is the unique fatigue analysis. To approach this, we have the two things, that is SN and EN approaches, that is strain life and the stress life. Okay. So when it comes to a stress life approach, we have the rainflow cycle counting. Okay, so you can just refer more about this if you just Google it, you'll get to know. So if you have the sinusoidal curvatures and all, it will try to find out the accurate curves to get the appropriate results. So mean stress correction. So in this, we have the Gerber and the Goodman criteria into account. So Gerber is for ductile materials, Goodman method is for brittle materials. Okay, you can take it. And next one is the damage accumulation model. We have the minus linear damage summation rule minus a rule. So that I'll explain later. Okay, these are the things when it comes to unique fatigue analysis in stress life. When it comes to strain life, we have the inverse correction model and the cyclic stress strain curve directly. So there we have the cyclic hardening, softening, everything will be taken into account. So these are the two things we need to remember when it comes to uniaxial loading conditions. When it comes to multi-axial loading, the multi-axial fatigue analysis, we have the same approach again, SNEN, and next one is the factor of safety approach. So when it comes to this stress and stress life approach, we have the Goodman model and Findlay model, research about these things. Okay. Well, when it comes to strain life, we have the Chang plasticity model where the hardening rule, flow rule, notch correction will come into account. Okay. So this is helpful to calculate the total strain, okay, and elastoplastic stresses as well. Next one, the mean stress correction. There we have the Smith-Watson Topper model, SWT model, which is very helpful to get the results for tensile crack route. Okay. And when it comes to sushi model, we have the shear crack route, and same thing, Brown Miller. It will also help you to get the shear crack route. So I have used this Brown Miller. When it comes to sushi, I haven't used it anytime. So you can just please go through these things. Try to implement these things while you're running the analysis. Okay, if you're totally new, please do research and do the analysis, and then you will get to know. Endurance limit, what it is very important when it comes to durability analysis. So this is the maximum value of the completely reversed bending stress. Okay, now let's say when I consider the endurance limit, 10 raised to 7 is the ideal value, e raised to 7, I think. Okay, that many cycles if it is going to withstand, the component is like it has the infinite cycles, we can say. When it comes to steel components, the endurance limit will vary from 1 million to 10 million cycles. That is e raised to 6 to e raised to 7. You need to remember that. And you can able to see the diagram here. For different steel materials, if you want to achieve the endurance limit, we need to maintain these stress results. Okay, that is 270 megapascal or 0.4% carbon. Okay, same thing for stainless steel, 18.8, 490. Okay, remember these things. So, you could see this diagram here. If you maintain this endurance limit in the sense somewhere here, the stress level, it will withstand the 10 raised to 7 in the sense that it has the infinite cycle, it is safe for longer period. Like this, you need to consider. Well, next one is the types of fatigue. So we have seen uniaxial and multi-axial as well. And here it is with respect to the cycles. So high fatigue cycle and the low fatigue cycle. When it comes to high cycle fatigue, what exactly happens here is the component is going to withstand more and more cycles. Okay, it is under the elastic limit. It will try to withstand more loading condition. When it comes to low fatigue cycle, it will be under like the loading conditions will exceeds the yield strength. It will be under the plastic range. So the component will fade early. Remember that. Okay. So as I explained here, you could able to see Goodman criteria for brittle, Gerber for ductile materials. So these are the factors affecting the fatigue behavior. The nature of loading condition, fully reversed or zero based. Okay, size of the component, stress and strain distribution. The surface finish is very important. Okay, the design as well, the fillets and all. Okay, stress strain concentration, mean stress or strain, environmental effects, these things and all will affect the fatigue behavior. Minus rule, or it is. So if you're running the analysis, okay, there are different types of stresses will act. Okay, for each and every stresses, you'll be having a set of endurance limits, right? We have seen here like this. Okay, let's say if you're considering the 270, you'll be having number of cycles depending upon that. Same thing when it comes to here. For this particular stress, you'll be having a number of cycles. So same thing, it will do summation of multiple stresses versus number of cycles for that, and it will give the total sum results. So let's say if I take apart a stress for 3000 cycle, then what exactly I can say? The 0.3%, sorry, 3% of the fatigue life would be expended, is expended. So 3% is done, remaining is 97%, like that. Okay, fine. So as you see, this is the low fatigue cycle, high stress concentrations, high cycle fatigue, low stress, and large number of cycles here. Elastic deformation, here it comes to plastic. Okay, now we have the fatigue curve. So depending upon the ASME section 8 division 2, we have the standards. Okay, that's according to that standards, these curves will be designed for, you could see, for curves for carbon as well as the low alloy steel. You can able to see it here. Okay, and now, so whatever the curves are generated using the test, they have certain limits. Okay, so let's say if the component is cycled continuously over the same stress range, a design limit on allowable cycles may correspond to the cycle life multiplied by a factor such as zero point 0.8. In the sense, they are going to give you 0.8% multiplied by whatever the curve you are having. No, they will be giving that kind of allowance. So it is not exactly the stress strain results. Will be having the allowance of 0.2, right? So this margin is for vessel and piping. For other component or other industrial components, you might be having certain things. So depending upon that, this ASME section will be given to you, and they have this all the allowance for each and every materials. Remember that, okay? Yep. So for example, you could able to see how taking the basketball ring into account. Okay. So And it comes to total lives, we're able to see, and the failure region, the stress concentration at these regions. So it has the lifespan of this much. How much it is? 4 into e raised to 7. Okay, crore. So the alternative stress level is 240 if you maintain this one, so you'll be having these many cycles. So everywhere it is this much, but when it comes to failure regions at these regions, this is the value. It is going to fail at 23,761 cycles at these regions. So your particular basketball ring is not safe for these loading conditions. You need to add fillets or you need to make some modifications into your design so that you can increase this particular value. So as I said, 1 into e raised to 7 would be the ideal, right? So at least if you could able to reach 10 lakh or 70 lakh would be fine, but 23,761 is not good for this component. Okay, the loading, whatever it is fine. So according to that, you can make the change to the model so that you can increase this particular stress concentration regions where the failure cycle is only 23,761. Well, I hope you got to know about this one. So how exactly we can just deal with the basics of the fatigue. Okay. So I would also like to help you out with this one. So how we can improve the fatigue strength of the component. The final question they'll ask in the interview. This one. First thing is the material selection. So we can choose the material which has the high fatigue strength, right? Very important. The surface finish. So the surface finish, if you add it, so you might increase the like the durability or the fatigue strength of the component. When it comes to design, so we can add the stiffeners, fillets, radii, okay, smooth transitions, curvatures and all properly so that you can avoid the sharp corners to increase the strength of the component. Load and stress cycles. Perform load and stress cycles to identify the high stress areas and you can just make the changes accordingly. Heat treatment also it will help you, that is quenching and tempering you can do it to increase the fatigue strength, and regular maintenance of that particular component will also help you to have the better lifespan of the component. Okay, so these are all the few points you need to take into account to improve your fatigue strength of the part. Well, so I hope this particular tutorial might help you to just get to know basics of durability, okay, when it comes to interviews. Yep, so if you have any questions or if you want me to add few more things, please do let me know what and all things I can do. Well, that's all about this session, guys. Thank you. Stay tuned. Bye, everyone.